across the United States, weathered and forgotten, where the air grows thick with an unsettling presence, a presence that can only be described by one name: Crybaby Bridge. On these forsaken structures, beneath the weight of darkness, a chilling sound pierces the night, the unmistakable wail of a baby. Some say it's the echo of a mother's grief. Others speak of a tragedy too terrible to comprehend. Legend has it that the cry comes from the depths of the bridge, rising from the black waters below. The baby's scream is sharp, desperate, full of the raw, painful longing of a child lost in time. Those brave enough to stop and listen speak of the hair-raising feeling that something unseen is watching, waiting. Some say if you listen too long, you'll hear more than just crying. You'll hear the soft, wet footsteps of something crawling up from the dark, its hands reaching for you, pulling you into the water, just as it did to the child long ago. And no one knows why the sound lingers. Some claim it's the spirit of a baby drowned by a cruel fate. Others say it's a curse, a warning to anyone who dares cross the bridge after dark. But one thing is certain: if you hear the cry, you are never truly alone, and the bridge, like the child, will never let you go.
In the dark corners of Fairfax County, Virginia, lurks a tale so twisted it leaves a chill, even in the bravest hearts. The legend of the Bunny Man is whispered in hushed tones, a haunting memory of the night he first appeared, a figure in a ragged, filthy rabbit costume, eyes blazing with madness, clutching an axe. It began in 1970, on a cold October night. A young couple parked their car near an old bridge, hoping for a quiet moment alone. Suddenly, they heard a scraping sound, metal dragging against stone, then a bone-chilling voice snarling, "Get off my land." In the dim light, they saw him, the Bunny Man. He lifted his axe high, and with a swift, furious swing, shattered their windshield. Shrieking, the couple sped off, but the image of the crazed man, fur-matted with dirt and blood, etched itself into their minds. Since that night, stories have spread, each one more horrifying than the last. Some say he's the ghost of an escaped asylum patient who hides in the woods, haunting the county in search of revenge. Others claim he's a restless spirit, doomed to stalk the shadows forever, fueled by a rage he can't control. They say that if you dare to visit the bridge at midnight, you might hear the sound of his axe scraping the ground, his ghostly form lingering in the shadows, waiting for another soul to claim. People swear they've seen him, his silhouette under the moonlight, his eyes gleaming from the depths of the forest. And one thing is certain: Once you see the bunny man, you'll never forget the sight of his axe, the echo of his growl, or the terror that will haunt your dreams.
In the shadowy corners of Staten Island, a name whispers through the night. Cropsey, once a harmless tale to keep children in line, it has grown into a nightmare that stains the very land. Parents warn their kids, stay close, or Cropsey will come for you. But no one truly understood the horror that lay behind the legend. Cropsey was a boogeyman of the darkest kind, a figure cloaked in rags, with wild eyes and a twisted, deformed face. He lurked in the woods, waiting for vulnerable children to wander too far from safety. Those who ventured too deep into the dark forest never returned. Their screams vanished in the wind, leaving only silence in their wake. The legend didn't stop there. As the years passed, Cropsey became something far more real, an embodiment of true terror. In the 1970s and 80s, a man named Andre Rand emerged from the shadows, a twisted figure who matched the horrors of the folklore. Convicted of kidnapping and terrorizing children, Rand was the real-life Cropsey. The monstrous figure in the legend was no longer just a story. It was flesh and blood, roaming the streets of Staten Island, snatching children one by one. Cropsey may still walk among us, his twisted presence forever haunting the streets where innocence once lived. And for those who strayed too far into the night, the darkness may still claim them, silent and hungry. In the dark corners of Brentwood, New Hampshire, the name Goody Cole still sends shivers down the spine of those who dare speak it. Eunice Cole, a frail, weathered woman with eyes that seemed to see through the veil of life and village suffered one tragedy after another. Crops withered, children fell ill, and livestock died in grotesque, unnatural ways. Whispers spread like wildfire. It was her, Goody Cole, they said. She was the one responsible for the misfortune that gripped their town. In 1673, the accusations resurfaced with a vengeance. Goody Cole was arrested once more, this time charged with witchcraft after the village saw another wave of disaster. Her name became a curse on every passing wind. People claimed she could curse the very earth beneath their feet. Her spells laced with malice and blood. No one truly knows what happened to Goody Cole. Some say she died in a dank, forgotten cell. Her spirit lingering in the fog that rolls over the town, waiting for the next to dare invoke her name. They say if you wander too far in the woods near Brentwood at night, you might feel her cold, dead gaze upon you. Her laughter echoing through the trees as she beckons you closer into her cursed, eternal grasp. In the quiet town of Terrell, Texas, whispers of a woman known as Clara Crane still echo through the streets. Her legend, a chilling reminder of the darkness lurking beneath the surface of everyday life. Clara, or as she's feared to be called, the Candy Lady, was once a sweet-faced woman, a stranger to no one, who always seemed to have a pocket full of treats for the children who dared to approach her. But her candy was no innocent delight. No, it was something far more sinister. It is said that Clara lured children into her grasp with the promise of sugary sweets, a gleam of kindness hiding the abyss of madness beneath her pale skin. Once they followed her into the shadows, they were never seen again. Parents, frantic with worry, found only the faintest traces. A few candies dropped on the ground, a small shoe, a forgotten doll. The children had vanished without a trace, swallowed soft voice, beckoning them closer with the rustling of candy wrappers, until the air thickens with the smell of decay and fear. And if you ever hear the faint crinkle of paper behind you in the dark, or feel the brush of cold fingers against your arm, beware. Clara Crane may be closer than you think. In the dark, moonless nights of the Caribbean, a shadow stalks the land, a creature known only as the chupacabra. The name goat sucker strikes fear into the hearts of those who whisper its legend. It is a nightmare made flesh, a thing that slinks through the underbrush, its glowing eyes reflecting the terror of the helpless creatures it hunts. First seen in Puerto Rico, the chupacabra is no mere animal. It is a monstrous, nightmarish predator with a hunger that cannot be quenched. Descriptions vary. Some say it has the spiny reptilian back of a creature from the depths of hell. Others speak of a beast with fangs like razors and claws like daggers. But one thing is certain: the chupacabra is a bloodthirsty killer. Livestock, especially goats, are its favored prey. In the dead of night, it strikes without warning. The victim is drained of its blood. The lifeless body left behind is a grim warning. unmistakable scent of death. To those who have encountered it, the terror is real, and once you know its name, you can never escape its haunting presence. Deep in the dense, shadowy forests of Mexico lurk the Chinex, small, sinister beings of Aztec mythology, creatures twisted by the ancient secrets of the underworld. Known as guardians of the wild, these entities are said to protect mountains and creatures, but their methods are anything but gentle. Those who wander too far into their realm often find themselves lost, surrounded by the whispering shadows of these creatures, who watch with dark, gleaming eyes. The Chineques appear as tiny men and women, but don't let their size fool you. They are as ancient as the mountains themselves, with wrinkled faces that twist into sly, knowing smiles, and voices that mimic the sounds of the forest. Leaves rustling, branches cracking, animals calling. They're often spotted just out of reach, watching intruders with a curious, malevolent gaze. And if you catch a glimpse of them, it's already too late. Legend has it that the Chinex guard their sacred lands with ruthless cunning. If they catch you trespassing, they'll trap you in their twisted labyrinth of roots and shadows, luring you deeper and deeper until you're utterly lost. And for those unfortunate enough to cross their path directly, the Chinex are said to steal a part of your spirit, leaving you hollow, haunted, a mere shadow of your former self. Some who have encountered the Chinex return, but they're never quite the same. They speak of hearing eerie laughter that echoes in their minds, seeing flashes of tiny figures darting through the corner of their vision, and they always warn, never stray too deep into the forest. The Chineques are watching,